Previously on the Frontier Farmer. Good news, we've had some germination, but unfortunately they are in need of some weeding. So I think I'm going to weave my way through and around here and get both Farmside Field and Burr Field all sprayed up. A big truckload full of logs heading to our wood storage yard. Cool, well that is in stark contrast to how it was. Yeah, would you look at that? All the logs are loaded nicely. And there we go. Construction complete. West Creek is the name I have opted for. Now, as mentioned, we are going to be doing 2 fields, and I will be marking them up to be ploughed at a later date. So I've just got off the phone and left a message for some of our tractor run friends to see who's available next month to come and help us out with the ploughing. We'll have to wait and see who we hear from. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. It is now May time, and I'm starting off today over at West Creek, our new settler farm, and the settlers are busy scurrying around making some preparations for today's activities, because we are going to be cracking on with getting these fields drilled. But before we drill them, we need to plough them. And we have some of our tractor run friends journeying to the Dark Forest. We've had the call answered by 2 friends who are bringing their tractors and ploughs, so they're going to help us plough this up. And then we need to lime spread, manure spread, and get a few bits of equipment together to get this drilled. Now, I have been busy extending this area a little bit, so we have a place to repair vehicles and to gather seed, fertilizer and lime when we need it. But next I'm going to make a slow walk over to the distribution centre, because they've just told me that we have received delivery of a new pickup truck. That's right, we gifted our old pickup truck to West Creek Farm, so we have purchased ourselves another one. Leaving West Creek and into Riverways. Leaving Riverways. Past the entrance of Lake Point. And through to the distribution centre. It's always nice grabbing a walk in the morning. But there we go. I can see our pickup in the distance. Now, we did have a bit of an inkling as to which one it was going to be. But it's nice to see it in the flesh. Here we go. A nice new pickup. And this is more powerful than the previous pickup. So that's part of the reason why we wanted to buy a new one. But this is the Lizard 4.5 litre V8 in a nice red colour. Fantastic. It's got a cab back, so we can have that removed and make it a pickup if we want to. It's got our number plate already there, Frontier. And yeah, let's have a little hop in. Fire up. Very nice. Classic pickup look on the inside. I like the wood effect on the steering wheel. I think I can see our tractor friends pouring in from the left-hand side. And what tractors have they brought with them? If we take a quick gander, I think we will see Ah, is that the Alice Chalmers? Pleased to see that, because that was one of my favourites. And looks like they brought the John Deere as well. Both three-wheelers with wheeled ploughs behind them. Fantastic. Well, we will give them a toot and follow them to West Creek. I think they know where they're going. Did give them some instructions over the phone, which is good news. Now, I should probably mention that this pickup truck did set us back about 60,000, but that's only a very small dent in the rather large dark forest coffers. We have considerable amount of money to invest and put forward for new productions, and also to pump into West Creek. We will support its growth and construction. But yet we've had some very willing volunteers to come and help with the ploughing up of the first fields. So we'll follow these chaps over to West Creek and then we can get started. Looks like they're going through riverways to the right, over the bridge and down the road to West Creek. Superb. So we just pull up. I think I will actually pull past these guys and put the pickup in the shed just so we're out of the way of any ploughing activities. And I think some of our settlers are going to come and utilise the tractors to do the ploughing, and it's very kind of our tractor run friends to come and lend us these pieces of equipment to get the ploughing underway. So it looks like our settlers have got started with the tractors, so me and the tractor run friends are going to observe from the sidelines and see how they get on. And there we go. It looks like this top field has been successfully ploughed. I think the worker's just gone to take a break. This worker is still cracking away in this field, and I think we will need to move this tractor out of the way for them. So we'll get fired up and we can move the plough over to the side. And I think what we'll do is probably venture over to the homestead and grab the bucket to clear the stones. Now interestingly, we've not had too many stones come through here, but we have had a couple in this top field, so we'll drop off the plough there and head on over to the homestead, and maybe by the time we're back and have cleared the stones, that second field will be finished. Feels good to be driving something a little bit different around the dark forest, and this John Deere has a nice bit of charm to it. Into the homestead, and I think Barkamus is a little bit curious. He's not seen us driving this tractor before, but never mind. Right, I think the bucket is somewhere in one of these sheds over this way. As I can see it in this shed here. And interestingly, we might have some more pieces of equipment to come and take over to West Creek. because some of this is small and old and we don't use it anymore because we have increased our scale. Right, let's head back and see if we can clear up those stones. We've made it back to West Creek, so I think we'll just head into this top field. The worker is still going, but yes, there were some stones over here, and interestingly we've not had any other stones yet, but I'm not going to jinx it because yeah, we do not like stones if we can avoid it. Right, I think that should lower us down to the right level, and we can back up and just grab these stones. Little bit of traction issue there. Raise it up. There we go. Oh, managed to grab those. And where we do stone grab, it turns it into a slightly cultivated state. But I think that is it as far as stones are concerned. So that is nice and easy. We'll drop these stones off just around the corner so they are out of the way. Now, it's fair to say our settlers have done a good job with their first introduction to farm work. There have been some interesting lines driven and some routes for the ploughing, but to be fair, I think overall they've done an okay job, so I'm not going to complain, and I think it's all good positive learning for the future. I think this bucket can go in here because, to be honest, the homestead is probably going to upgrade to a more modern stone picker at some point, so we can drop this in here. But I think the ploughs are probably going to go back with our tractor run friends. And it was mentioned that potentially some of these tractors would be up for sale, but I'm not sure. We'll have to ask them. But yes, if you think we should look to purchase either the John Deere or the Alice Chalmers, then let me know and we could probably put an offer in. Right, so one of our settlers has just ventured off to the distribution centre to go pick up a lime spreader, because that is going to be the next job. And this worker is still ongoing with this field, but hopefully by the time we are back with our lime spreader, we should have this completed. So I think we are going to follow on just so we can help with any of the distribution centre logistics. I think we have managed to catch the old boy up. And for spreaders, we are going to go with this Vicon PS 1004. It can take 1700 litres and it can spread 18 metres. And yeah, I think for a modest $4,050, it's a fair old price, and we are going to be buying this for West Creek as we are the ones with the funds, so we will be investing. And they are also going to be needing a manure spreader because our manure spreader is too big for the horsepower they have. But this Pottinger Twist 7001 can take 10,000 litres of manure, only needs 20 horsepower to run, and can spread 8 metres, so pretty modest, 17,500. Now that chap is heading back with the John Deere and the sprayer, and I'm hoping we can hitch up with the pickup to this manure spreader. Yes, we can. There we go. And I think we will take this back to West Creek. Oh, it's a little bit heavy on the back, so sliding over. But I think we'll try and fill this up with manure on the way back, so it's over at West Creek ready. Right, slow journey back, but we should be able to fill up with manure. There we go. And I think we will leave this for a tractor to take over there because the pickup's hitch is a little bit too low. Sounds like a job for the International. Now I'm hoping the Alice Chalmers is going to be the tractor that can pull this manure spreader because it's quite a heavy load, and I think the John Deere is around 35 horsepower, but the Alice Chalmers is 43 or 45, so should be perfectly capable. Well, both should be perfectly capable of pulling this, but 10,000 litres worth of manure is pretty heavy, so we'll probably go with the Alice Chalmers. So we can drop this off for our West Creek friends. And yes, we are kind of running support today. We're not doing much farming. We are just helping all of the settlers get set up with West Creek, which is good fun. Right, we will drop this manure spreader off here. Okay, so it looks like the Alice Chalmers has finished now, and this field is all ploughed up. No stones, which is very good news. So we'll get this parked up in a moment, but I think we should probably show the settlers where the lime gets filled up and get them set off. So I think we'll stick with the John Deere for this job, as the Alice Chalmers will probably do the manure spreading. The liming and manure spreading needs to be done for both fields, but I'm thinking we probably only need to cultivate one field, because when it comes to drilling crops, I'm thinking the smaller field up top we will cultivate and drill sorghum, and that drill is going to need to be purchased because we haven't got anything that's specific to the horsepower that we have. But the bigger field, closer to the actual creek, I think we are probably going to be planting corn. And the planter, the small planter we have back at the homestead, which we're going to give West Creek, is a direct planter. So it should work as a good... Oh dear. Too heavy. That is interesting. Let's switch to the Alice Chalmers and see if that can fare any better. Doesn't look like it. That is unfortunate. So it looks like we might have to use the Lands Bulldog, which will certainly be able to pick up the heavy lime spreader. Better get the Lands started up, because it has quite the startup sequence. So there we go, we are away. Let's go see if we can carry the lime spreader, but I have no doubts. Moment of truth. There we go. Perfectly capable. Right, let's give one of the settlers a bit of a demo on how this tractor works and get them underway. Right, they are away, so we will probably get the Alice Chalmers linked up to the manure spreader in readiness, and then once that field has been done, we can get the manure spreading underway, and the lime spreading can continue to the next field. So, some sad news. It doesn't look like the Alice Chalmers or the John Deere fit the manure spreader. It's probably too big, but I was trying to push the boundaries as to how much capacity we could store, because we didn't want to have to go back to the homestead too frequently for manure top-ups. So it might be that the Lands Bulldog has to do the manure spreading as well, which is unfortunate. But we will get the next field limed. Right, worker is away, and they are going to be liming up once they've reached the start position. And there we go. Right, we'll have to wait for them to finish, and then hopefully once that is all spread, the Lands Bulldog can manage the manure spreader. Very quick job that indeed. I'm just taking over from the settler worker so we can get this arced up, and then hopefully we can get the manure spreader underway. I think we'll just probably pop this in this shed here. It's a bit of a mess at the moment because we've had to bring some stuff over here. We've got the International Harvester, and then the Alice Chalmers and the John Deere just ticking away over there, because unfortunately they could not pull this manure spreader, but we will see how well the Lance Bulldog hitches up to it. Seems to be hitched up and pulling it just fine, so let's get the manure spreading underway. Well, the manure spreading is done, and I think overall there is a fair amount of improvement to be done. The workers have tried their best. The settlers are trying farming for the first time this season, so I think there's definitely some improvements to make, but I'm not going to be too hard on them because I think we were very similar when we first started out, but they've obviously missed a couple of patches on the liming and the manure spreading. But I think for the first season, this is going to have to do, because this is the last month that we can get the crops in that we wanted. So I think what we'll do is we'll park up the manure spreader for them, and then one tractor will be off to go and fetch the planter from the homestead, and the other can get started on the cultivating that needs to happen in the smaller field so we can get a drill in here. Right, that can live there, and I think we can park up the Bulldog for now. And I think the cultivator only needs 31 horsepower, so we'll hop in the John Deere and get that set up for our settler. There we go. So this is the cultivator we actually used to mark out our fields so they could be ploughed. But yes, we'll probably head off in this direction and get our settler worker to crack on with this job for us. There we go. The worker is off. I think they are actually sensibly starting with the rows and then they're going to finish up with the headland. So that is good. In the meantime, I think we will get the Alice Chalmers run over to the homestead so we can pick up the planter. Oh, that's very kind. A settler has agreed to go over to the homestead to fetch the planter. That is good. So I think that means we can probably go to the distribution centre to see about a new seed drill. We'll hop in the International because we need to run this back. And oh yeah, looks like our worker is making some good progress. Look forward to seeing that done. Now in terms of seed drill, I think we have to go pretty small because of horsepower. So we're going with this Gamma 18 and it can take 270 litres of seed. And it can only drill, it can't fertilise at the same time, so we will need to do that later. It needs 30 horsepower to run and it's 2.2 metres wide. At 2000, I think that's pretty good going. Pretty much dwarfed by the International, but the John Deere is what's going to be running this. So, yep, it is size appropriate. So we'll run back to West Creek and hopefully the Alice Chalmers has made it back with the planter. I think I have caught up with the worker and looks like they've picked up the planter successfully. But I am hoping that the Alice Chalmers is going to be able to pull the planter. It may be just a little bit beyond its horsepower capability, but it is on wheels, so it will hopefully be able to pull it. Roger that, we have made it back and the planter is here. And it looks like the work has done Not too bad a job with the cultivating. Just tidied up a few bits and we can get the cultivator stashed away. Now the planter still has a bit of seed and fertilizer left in it, but we will need to get it topped up for this big field. And as mentioned, this is a direct planter, so we should find that it doesn't need any cultivation of that bigger field. Covers open and refill the seed. And fertilizer filled too. Covers closed. And the good thing is, because this planter is going to plant corn and fertilize at the same time, we won't have to return to do any fertilization, because it has manure for the primary and this solid fertilizer for the secondary. Right, we can get this drill lowered and dropped off for the John Deere and park up the International for the moment. Hitched up, and it looks to be a perfect fit and the exact width of the tractor. That's a good happy coincidence. So it looks like there is a cover to open and we can get stocked up. We have got sorghum selected, so that is good. Let's get lined up and our worker can take over. Right, our worker is starting on drilling the sorghum rows, and then we'll move to the headland. And likewise, our worker is starting by planting the corn rows, and then we'll move on to the headland. Let's see how they get on. Okay, the Alice Chalmers is pulling quite smoothly. I'm very impressed. Right, let's enjoy the planting and the drilling. And there we go. We have the top field drilled with sorghum and the bottom field planted with corn. And I'm calling that a success because I think the drilling and planting has gone a lot better than some of the previous jobs. So I think our settler farmers are gaining experience as they go. But it seems like they're a little bit lazy. They leave me to park up all the equipment, but I'm sure they will find that they do actually need to do it themselves as time goes on. Right, we'll park up the Alice Chalmers. I think we can park it next to the International Harvester for now. And then we can get the seed drill dropped off and parked up. There we go, seed drill can go in here. We'll lower that down and drop it off. Fantastic. So we have a good amount of shed space with a few sheds spare still. Now I will park up the tractors here, but I think the plan is that these tractors are going to return with our tractor run friends unless we opt to buy either of them or both of them. Please let me know if you think we should, or if we should invest in some more horsepower so we can not struggle with pulling things like the manure spreader. And yeah, I don't want the John Deere lands to be doing all the jobs. But yes, we have got our fields drilled and planted now, so that is good news. We will have to come and fertilise the sorghum at some point because the drill we've bought doesn't fertilise, but the corn is all fertilised up to secondary level now because the planter is a direct planter and can also fertilise at the same time. But yeah, overall I am pretty impressed with how the settlers have got on. They haven't done every job perfectly, but neither did we when we first started out, and I think because of some of their wacky attempts to get the jobs done today, it is kind of wacky West Creek, but I'm sure it will grow in experience as time goes on. But yes, we will leave it at West Creek for today. Back to the homestead, and it's nice to see our fantastic new pickup, which yes, I'm hoping to make good use of during our time here. But I think we could just park up the International here for now, because that is it for today. Looks like Barkamus is here waiting for us. Good old boy. Probably wondered where we've been, over at the West Creek, doing all sorts of different kinds of jobs, but we will be back on the homestead next month because I'm hoping we are going to have a harvest or two ready. I will have to just double check, but yes, that means that we are going to be needing to procure a new harvester because the Neva Diva is going over to West Creek. Yes, we will see what else we can get up to. But that's it. Hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe. If you've got any tips, tricks, or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, I hope to see you again next time on The Frontier Farmer. And until then, catch you later. Cheers all, and bye bye.